Have you ever wondered why the rich keep getting richer while everyone else struggles to keep up? What if I told you there's a systematic 10-level process that explains exactly how wealth inequality expands in modern economies, and most people are completely unaware they're trapped in it right now? By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden mechanisms that separate the wealthy from the working class, and more importantly, you'll know which level you're currently stuck on and how to break free. Let's start with something that might shock you. The top 1% of Americans now control more wealth than the entire bottom 50% combined. This isn't an accident or a natural occurrence. It's the result of a predictable system that operates like a ladder, with each level making it harder for ordinary people to climb up while making it easier for the wealthy to pull the ladder up behind them. Think of this system like a video game where the rules keep changing in favor of players who are already winning. Each level we'll explore represents a different way the economic playing field becomes more tilted against regular people. The scariest part? Most people don't even realize they're playing a rigged game. By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden mechanisms that separate the wealthy from the working class. And more importantly, you'll know which level you're stuck on and how to break free. The top 1% of Americans now control more wealth than the bottom 50% combined. This isn't a coincidence. It's the result of a predictable system that functions like a broken ladder. Level 1. Wage stagnation. Level 1 is where most people first encounter this system without even knowing it. Wage stagnation hits the average worker like a slow-moving poison. While productivity has skyrocketed over the past 40 years, wages have barely budged when adjusted for inflation. Your grandfather could buy a house and support a family on a single income, but today's workers need 2 or 3 jobs just to afford rent in many cities. Here's what's really happening. Companies discovered they could increase profits not by growing their business, but by simply paying workers less relative to the value they create. The extra money doesn't disappear. It flows upward to executives and shareholders. Meanwhile, workers are told they should be grateful to have jobs at all. This creates the foundation for everything that follows. Example: while productivity has skyrocketed over the past 40 years, wages have barely moved when adjusted for inflation. Your grandfather could support a family on one income. Today, many people need 2 or 3 jobs just to pay rent. Level 2. Capital concentration. Level 2 is where the financial system reveals its true nature. Capital concentration means that a small group of people control most of the investment money, bank loans, and financial decisions that shape entire economies. When you need money to buy a house, start a business, or invest in your future, you're forced to go through institutions owned by the wealthy. This creates a compounding effect. The people who already have money can invest it and watch it grow through compound interest, stock market gains, and real estate appreciation. Meanwhile, people without capital are stuck paying rent, interest on loans, and fees that transfer their money to the wealthy. It's like being forced to pay membership fees to a club that uses your money to buy assets you can't afford. Level 3. Educational inequality. Level 3 strikes at the heart of the American dream. Educational inequality doesn't just mean some people can't afford college. It means the entire education system becomes a sorting mechanism that reinforces class divisions. Wealthy families buy their children advantages that compound over decades. Private schools, tutoring, test prep, unpaid internships, and elite universities create networks that ordinary families can't access. A wealthy student can take unpaid internships at prestigious companies because their parents cover their living expenses. A working-class student needs paid work and graduates with crushing debt. The wealthy student gets better connections and job opportunities before they even start their career. But here's the deeper problem. The skills and knowledge that create real wealth are increasingly taught outside the traditional education system. The wealthy learn about investing, business ownership, and wealth building from their families and social networks. Schools teach people to be employees, not entrepreneurs or investors. This knowledge gap perpetuates itself across generations. Level 4. Lack of access to productive assets. Level 4 reveals why most people never build serious wealth. Access to productive assets separates the wealthy from everyone else more than any other factor. Productive assets generate income without requiring your time. Stocks pay dividends, real estate produces rental income, and businesses create profits. Most people can only sell their time for money. The wealthy buy assets that appreciate and generate cash flow. Regular people buy liabilities that depreciate and require ongoing payments. A wealthy person buys rental properties that tenants pay for over time. A middle-class person buys a house with a 30-year mortgage that they pay for themselves. One builds wealth while sleeping. The other trades time for money until they retire or die. Level 5. Real estate price inflation. Level 5 hits families where they live, literally. Real estate becomes a wealth transfer mechanism from young people and renters to older property owners. As housing prices skyrocket faster than wages, homeownership becomes impossible for many people who would have easily afforded homes in previous generations. This creates a vicious cycle. People who can't afford to buy homes are forced to rent, paying someone else's mortgage instead of building their own equity. The money flows from renters to landlords, who use it to buy more properties, driving prices even higher. Young people watch their rent payments fund someone else's retirement, while their own financial future becomes more precarious. The commute becomes a hidden tax on time and money that the wealthy avoid by living close to where they work or owning businesses that generate income from anywhere. Level 6. Job automation. Level 6 represents the great displacement that most people don't see coming. Automation doesn't just replace factory workers anymore. Artificial intelligence and robotics are eliminating white-collar jobs at an accelerating pace. Lawyers, doctors, accountants, and analysts face replacement by machines that work faster and cheaper. The wealthy benefit from automation because they own the companies and technology that replace human workers. Everyone else faces an existential threat to their livelihood. A factory owner profits when robots replace workers. The workers face unemployment and retraining for jobs that may not exist in 10 years. This creates a fundamental shift in how economies work. Level 7. Tax avoidance and offshore havens. Level 7 exposes the legal system's role in wealth concentration. Tax avoidance and offshore havens allow the wealthy to keep more of their money while regular taxpayers fund the infrastructure and services that make business profits possible. The effective tax rate for billionaires often falls below the rate paid by their secretaries. Complex tax codes benefit people who can afford expensive accountants and lawyers. Simple tax situations get audited while complicated schemes go unnoticed. The wealthy use charitable foundations, shell companies, and international structures to minimize their tax burden legally. Meanwhile, working people pay higher effective rates through payroll taxes, sales taxes, and fees that don't apply to investment income. Level 8. Political capture. Level 8 reveals how economic power translates into political control. Wealthy individuals and corporations use lobbying, campaign contributions, and regulatory capture to shape laws in their favor. Politicians become dependent on wealthy donors for election funding, creating conflicts of interest that benefit the rich at everyone else's expense. The revolving door between government and industry means regulators often work for the companies they're supposed to oversee. Financial regulations get written by former bank executives. Healthcare policy gets influenced by pharmaceutical companies. Tax policy gets shaped by wealthy donors who benefit from the changes they fund. Level 9. Social polarization and discontent. Level 9 shows the social consequences of extreme inequality. When people lose faith in the system's fairness, social cohesion breaks down. Political polarization increases as different groups compete for a shrinking share of economic opportunity. Trust in institutions declines as people realize the game is rigged against them. This creates instability that threatens everyone, including the wealthy. Extremist movements gain support when people feel hopeless about their economic future. Crime increases in areas with high inequality. Social services become overwhelmed as more people need help while tax revenue declines. The psychological toll is enormous. People blame each other instead of examining the system that created their problems. Family stress increases as financial pressure mounts. Mental health problems rise as people lose hope for a better future. Society becomes more divided and less capable of solving collective problems. Level 10. Collapse of social mobility. Level 10 represents the final breakdown of economic mobility. When the ladder between social classes gets pulled up completely, entire generations become trapped in their economic circumstances. Children born into poverty have little chance of escaping it, while wealthy children are virtually guaranteed to remain wealthy regardless of their individual efforts or talents. This destroys the social contract that holds societies together. The promise that hard work leads to prosperity becomes obviously false when people work harder than ever but fall further behind. Meritocracy becomes a myth when success depends more on family wealth than individual ability. The American dream dies when opportunity becomes inherited rather than earned. Understanding these 10 levels isn't about creating despair. It's about recognizing the system so you can work within it more effectively. The wealthy didn't create the system through evil conspiracy, but by following incentives and protecting their interests. You can learn to do the same by focusing on acquiring assets, building multiple income streams, and understanding how money really works. The game may be rigged, but knowing the rules gives you a chance to play it better.